They are coming.
Who are they? That's the question, right?
Hi guys, my name is Pedro. I'm from Jovem Nerd in Brazil. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How are you?
Fantastic. Hello, Pedro.
How are you?
Tudo bem?
Tudo bem. I want to start by asking, how did this collaboration begin? Like, there's this book, Three-Body Problem. It should make a great TV series. Let's do it together. How did this partnership start?
We were looking, David and I, for a new show because we were done with the last one. And we were reading a lot and thinking a lot and talking a lot. And we were aware of these books, but it was when Peter Friedlander from Netflix, when we were talking to Netflix and thinking about where we might end up post-Thrones, Peter Friedlander asked us if we'd read these books, and we said no, but they are familiar to us. And he said, well, just check them out, because I think there might be something really, really fascinating there. And so we read them, and we read them pretty quickly. And by the time we were coming back from Japan on our last Game of Thrones work trip, we both finished the books on the plane home, and I walked over to David's seat and I said, did you finish? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, what did you think? And we both kind of nodded and knew that we needed to do these books.
I have to tell you something. Something insane, but true.
Peter really gets credit for all of this, for bringing us together. I had known Peter for almost 20 years now, and he called me up because I had just finished my previous show and was looking for a new home, and he said, we have something I think you might really enjoy, and Dan and David are working on this, but I can't tell you what it is. You're just going to have to trust me. Because Dan and David and I had overlapped for a little while at HBO and had a lot of friends in common, and I knew them by reputation. I was a fan of their work, and I knew Peter. I decided, let's do it, whatever it is. And then he told me it's Three-Body Problem. And I'd known about the novels because of how popular they were in China, but I hadn't read them yet. And when I read them, I had the same reaction that these guys did too. This is unlike anything we've ever read before. It surprises you in ways you've never been surprised before. It has ideas that seem inconceivable that a human being could have come up with. It's such an exciting opportunity to convey that feeling to the screen. Let's do it. So that's how we all came together.
Back in 1977, they detected a sequence, called it the wow signal.
What's it say?
When you guys got called to the project to star on the series, what was the main thing that drew you to the series?
It's the scripts. For any actor worth their salt, the ink on the page is the most important thing. And when you look at the work of Alex and David and Dan, they're writers held in great esteem. As actors, that's what you long for, is beautiful scenes, beautiful writing, and these beautifully formed characters in these strange situations. I mean, if you look at the two characters that we play, you'd never put two characters that are like that and team them up. It would seem insane, but it works. It really works. It's a wonderful thing to see these two characters interact with each other because they're so unlike each other. And then on top of that, the job that they have to do. It's incredibly interesting and very, very dramatic.
Someone or something is targeting scientists.
They're going after our best and brightest.
Characters, the character development, the dialogue, the story of the human beings is always the first thing I look at when I'm reading a script, and then that was very solidly there. David, Dan, and Alex are incredible at character development, and them together is a very exciting combination. And then once I kind of saw that was there, getting into the source material and seeing how they were going to bring the scope of this to life was very exciting, and having those two things together is it's a very rare project. The quality and the size of it, and easy decision.
I think audiences will see that it's really like nothing you've ever seen before. And similarly, when we read the scripts, it's like nothing I've ever read before.
Yeah.
You know, I was alone in my room, like reading all the scripts, trying to be quiet for my neighbors, and then I was like, And I was making so many vocal responses because I was just so enthralled by these characters. And this is just on paper, you know, so
It's a ride, isn't it?
It's such a wild ride. It's absolutely crazy. So there was a no-brainer.
It was kind of different for me because I pretty much said yes to being in it before I'd even read a script.
Yeah.
They got in touch with me and they said, we're doing this new thing, we'd like you to be in it. We're not going to tell you too much about it, but it's a character that you're going to have a lot of fun with. You've never really played a character like this before. And from that moment on, I trusted them really, because I know that they know me really well, having worked with them for nearly 10 years. They wouldn't be sort of wasting my time, and they wouldn't be doing it for any other reason than that they thought that I could do something with this character that would bring a certain flavour to the show. So I was just so flattered that they wanted me in it, that it was a yes before I even saw a script. And then as soon as I did, I just realised that the ambition of it, the scope of it, and the size of everything that David, Alex and Dan were trying to do. And from then on, I just thought, you know, this was sort of meant to be, and it was just something that any actor would want to be involved in something like this with this group of people. It was the easiest yes ever.
Prepare yourself for something very strange.
It was very easy for John to get into the project since the role was written for him before he even knew he was involved in the project. But with everybody else, we were just very lucky to have them. And it's hard to find people that you love to work with who are great at what they do. When you find them, you tend to hold on to them with a white knuckle grip if you can. One of the main reasons we chose the UK was that that's where our people were. The core of the team that we were lucky enough to work with on Thrones, most of them live over there. And it was just great to have our camera operators and our grips and our gaffers and all of these faces that we'd seen like day in, day out for years on end. There's a kind of a group knowledge that builds up when a group of people work together for a long time on something. And that's something that's very, very hard to cultivate. And once you have it, I think you do everything you can to hold on to it for as long as you can.
And I think at some point you had texted John Bradley and said if he didn't want to do the role that was written for him, you were going to offer it to Kit Harington. I recall that. Yeah,
It's a great way to get John to do it. Say that if you don't do this, something else good is going to happen for Kit Harington.
You're better than me at everything. So reading.
I saw the first 3 episodes of the show. What I really liked was the dynamic between your characters. Like, your character is a policeman, he's a detective, he's very good at what he does, but he doesn't have a lot of social skills. He's been through some hard times, and I see a lot of trust, but also untrustness between both of them, and also a level of respect. So, Benedict, how was building that relationship with Liam?
Thank you for recognizing that. Yeah, I mean, there's always a level of kind of, they keep their own trust, really, don't they? I mean, even though we're working together, but the dynamic just happened day one when we met, and I don't know, it's catching fire, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very difficult to put your finger on it. Yeah. It's a bit like going into any relationship. How did you build a relationship? It's an organic thing. And if you know, we've been in the game long enough that when you know when you're handed good words, and then everything else stems from that. This man is an absolute delight to work with. There's no ego on the set. You feel very safe. You can mess up and we can have a laugh. Yeah. And you just feel good about taking chances and even making suggestions that may not be the cleverest, but they may lead us to something else that is useful.
Just that level of comfort in terms of, you know, the playground that we can play with. I mean, we take our jobs very seriously, but not ourselves. And to some degree, that's exactly also with Wade and Darsher. I mean, not the comedy banter isn't there, but the humour is much more darker, you know.
Yeah, and they're both nuts in their own way, aren't they?
They are.
They're they are. Both of them are a bit nuts.
Well, you're so driven in that way. The level of sacrifice that they take, you know, what is this? If you want to excel at such a high level, you cut absolutely everything off and are laser focused in what that is, you know. It's the only way you can do it.
Christ, another countdown.
John, so far you saved us from White Walkers, you saved us from the moon falling, and now you're saving us from aliens. So is it right to say that if the world ever comes to an end, we must seek you, we must protect you at all costs?
Feels a bit like it, doesn't it? Although I've got this thing where I kind of present myself as a smart person, but very, very shallowly under the surface, I'm really not. So I think that I've got this sort of worry that I'm being sort of grossly overestimated by the public. Like I really am all talk when it comes to that kind of stuff. But no, I've got this thing about playing. Not so much Jack fits into this mold too much, but in the past playing heroes that don't look like heroes. I think you don't have to look like a hero to be one. And I think a lot of the characters that I played before are sort of played with that trope of what a hero looks like. I'm not saying Jack looks like a hero either. He looks like me, for crying out loud. But yeah, I do actually. I was just saying it so you'd say it. I'd like to think that I've got this thing of playing normal people in extraordinary circumstances.
Put it on.
Okay.
Holy shit. This is fucking mental.
So my time's up. I watched the first episodes of the show. My brain is already frying with theories, so I'd like to thank you for your time.
Very nice of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Obrigado.
They are coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop them.
It's right.